Hey guys, how's it going? Welcome to week 1's reading vlog for the Owl's Magical Readathon April 2020. Today is April 1st, day 1 of the readathon. If you didn't watch my TBR video, I'm going to become a potioneer. I'm very excited about that. I'm going to make all the cool potions. But in the meantime, I'm just going to be reading and letting you guys know what I'm reading, how it's going, etc. I decided to start with The Poppy War by R.F. Kuang. This one I decided to start with because it's one of the larger books and I thought that getting it out of the way now would make the most sense. I read, I think, 2 chapters of it last night before I went to bed. It was like 3 a.m.-ish, so I just read a couple chapters. And then I did some writing this morning for my Camp Nano vlogs. And then, if we're being completely honest, I spent a couple hours playing Animal Crossing. And then I've been reading for the past 2.5 hours, I think? I don't know, I completely lost track of time. But this is a story I'm starting with, and I was iffy about it. So first, quick synopsis. It is about a war orphan who was raised in a foster family who didn't give a shit about her and were basically using her as free labor in their drug operation, and she decides to study for this really prestigious exam that gets you into like the military school as a chance to escape. And she actually ends up getting it. And obviously everybody thinks she's cheating, and when they find out that she really did get there, they don't think she belongs there, etc., etc. I was really interested in this book because it sounds, first of all, really fascinating, and I've been really into a lot more battle-heavy fantasy stories lately, so war being in the title here I thought was a good sign. But I ran into a bit of a hiccup because my copy is actually printed wrong, so a lot of the pages, see how this one, the words go into the very end of the page, and this one has all this blank space and the words go right into the gutter there. So it's kind of hard to read at times because I have to really crack the spine to see the last word on every line. And there's quite a few pages that are like that. And at first I thought that that was going to make it really hard to read, which honestly, it has been difficult. But also, at the beginning of this book is a lot of like military history explanation and about the different provinces, the different leaders, and it's a lot of background information that you need to know that I just had a hard time remembering. And like I've mentioned many times, I'm not good at names, so a lot of the characters I was still getting mixed up, or they'd only mention the name of one of the leaders once or twice and then I'd forget where they were, and anyways, I just suck at names and it gets hard sometimes. But anyways, I thought that because I was struggling to understand the backstory and because it was a physically difficult book to read, I wasn't really going to enjoy it. But I accidentally read way more than I planned to today, and I just got so lost in this world. Like, I was planning to just read for an hour to at least make some progress in it, and then maybe switch to a different book or a shorter book. And I don't want to read anything else right now. I am just so engrossed in this and so captivated by their history and the way that they describe martial arts is first of all confusing, but once you're in it, I feel like you're really in it. But it's just very, very well done. Honestly, I can't even tell you how many pages were printed wrong, because after this I thought, oh, okay, it's kind of nice that for the last like hour and a half, none of the pages are printed wrong. And then I just flipped through, and yes, they were. I was just so engrossed with the story that I didn't notice that it's physically difficult to read the pages. So that's definitely a very good sign, and I'm getting very engrossed with the world and very wrapped up in it. I am going to take a quick break because I should probably eat at some point today, and there's a couple other things that I have to do, some chores and stuff I decided I'm going to do around the house. So I'm going to stop reading now while I still can, because I feel like this is one of those books that I can definitely accidentally just stay up all night reading and completely lose track of all time. But so far I'm off to a really great start, and I will check in a little bit. So my mom bakes when she's stressed, and I went over to see her last Friday, and now I have a whole loaf of banana bread all to myself. So I'm eating banana bread with some whipped cream on it, and it is glorious. Hello, it is day 2 of the Owl's Magical Readathon. I just read about 150 pages of The Poppy War, and it's just getting really intense. I'm really liking it. I really like the very heavy religious focus on the magic system. Hello, Comet. I was only going to read like 50 pages, but then Ripley fell asleep on my lap, and Ripley never stays still. So the fact that she was asleep on my lap, I just didn't want to bother her, so yeah, I read an extra 100 pages. So I'm really enjoying it. I'm about 2/3 of the way through. Also, one thing that I forgot to mention that was in a part that I read yesterday One of my all-time favorite things in any fantasy story that I've very recently realized I'm absolutely in love with is when they mention periods. And I know it's gonna sound really weird, but hear me out. For some reason, it's just something that's so grounding, and it's just something that's kind of refreshing to see. It just adds that extra hint of reality to it. And also, side note, it shouldn't be weird to talk about periods because about 50% of the adult population spends like 1 out of 4 weeks having a period. So anyways, that's irrelevant. But there's just something I really love about it, and I realized this very recently. Like in Graceling and Fire by Christine Cashore, the characters mention being on their periods or getting their periods, and it's actually kind of important to the plot in Fire, if I remember right. And which one was it? I think Ash Princess by Laura Sebastian did that. It's usually done to show that a character has grown up without a mother, and then all of a sudden she has her period and she has no idea what the heck's going on, because if you don't know what a period is, periods are terrifying. And that's how it's done in this one too. So Rin just wakes up one morning after a fight and there's blood everywhere and she's freaking the heck out, and then she goes down to the nurse and then they're like, oh, okay, it's okay. But for some reason, just in a fantasy story, I don't know, it's just an element that I realized I absolutely love. So if you guys have any great recommendation on fantasy stories that include someone on their period, let me know. Anyways, I'm going to talk about something else now. So, this book, very enjoyable so far, very violent, very bloody, and not just because of periods. Sorry. I feel like this clip got way off course, so I'll talk to you tomorrow. Hello again. I'm going to say that it's Saturday, day 4 of the Owls, but it's 5:30 in the morning, so it's Sunday now, but I haven't gone to bed yet, so that counts as still Saturday. I didn't do any reading yesterday on Friday. I got distracted with Animal Crossing, okay? I'll be honest. And then tonight was night 1 of WrestleMania. It was something. There was some okay matches, there was a couple really good matches, there was a couple just what the hell's going on matches, and it was a great time. So obviously I'm going to bed now, but I'm going to read a little bit before bed. I decided not to read the Poppy War before bed because first of all, I'm going to get carried away and not end up sleeping because I'm just going to read too much of it. But also, it's just not a good book to read before bed, I think. Hey, Comet. Yeah, Comet heard the word bed. She's very excited. I realized that a lot of the books I have aren't really good before I go to bed books. Like, the Poppy War is very violent. Rune is really depressing. Six of Crows might be. I'm not sure. So yeah, I decided instead to go with The Magic Finger by Roald Dahl. That just seems to make sense, and if I have weird dreams about this, that'll be fun. Also, this book is like super short. I think it's like 70 pages or something, and obviously it's Roald Dahl, so it's big font, lots of pictures. So yeah, I don't expect this to take me any time at all, so I'm just gonna read this probably really quick, and then that'll check another book off my list. So yeah, I'm not going to check in once I finish reading it though, because I will be trying to sleep, so I will check in the morning or tomorrow when I remember. So I'll talk to you then. Good morning. It is Sunday, day 5 of the Owls. Like I promised, I'm going to update you on the book I read last night, The Magic Finger by Roald Dahl. I timed it. It took me 7 minutes to read this book. So this is going to be really quick. It's about a girl who, when she gets angry and she points at people, things happen. Like her teacher was mean to her about misspelling the word cat, so she pointed at her and then her teacher turned into a cat. It's a very typical Roald Dahl book. It's about children and magic and big messages, like this one is that hunting is bad. So yeah, I gave it, I want to say like an 8 out of 10 because as a children's book, it's fine, it's solid. It's not one of the ones that's going to stick with me, but it's a Roald Dahl book. What more do I need to say? Also, I just realized how bad my hair is sticking up. It's morning. I'm not wearing a hat. What do you expect? My game plan for the rest of the morning is to finish reading The Poppy War. I have like 120 pages left, I think, so I'll definitely be able to finish it this morning. So yeah, I'm just gonna have a nice, easy, relaxing morning, and I will check in when I'm done. Well, shit, eh? That was very good. That was very dark. That was very disturbing. I did not expect it to be that gory and that screwed up, I guess. But that was an experience. A couple days ago, I actually went online and ordered the sequel because at like halfway to 2/3 through, I realized how much story there was left and how much book there was left, and I knew that when the book ended, I was going to need the sequel as soon as possible. Unfortunately, with the state of the world, as soon as possible, who knows when that is, but once things go back to normal, I will get the second book. Right now, I'm thinking like a 9 out of 10. I didn't like that the villains were the very stereotypical, automatically evil villains. Like, I think that it was convenient for a story about war that the bad guys are bad guys, but I like a little bit more gray, I guess, usually. I would warn though, if you get disturbed easily, maybe pass on this one. There's so many terrible things. There's obviously murder and there's torture. There is violent and fucked up things people do to dead bodies. There is rape, there is other sexual assault, there is children being killed, there are animals being killed. If you have a weak stomach, don't read this one. But I really enjoyed it, so as long as you're prepared, I would recommend this. But I would recommend having the sequel because that ending, I don't know what's gonna happen. I have no idea. Yeah, I'll check in later. Hello, today is Monday, April 6th. I am in my living room today because I just wanted to change the scenery. I am going to be starting The Room by Emma Donoghue. I decided to go with this one because after reading The Poppy War and it was very fucked up, I decided to go with a different kind of fucked up because why not? This book definitely has trigger warnings for sexual assaults and abduction, that kind of thing. This is the story of a woman who was abducted and was held in this room for many, many years. Her captor frequently rapes her, and at one point she actually becomes pregnant. She has the baby, and now she's raising this child in this room, and she's trying to give him the most normal life that she can with their insane circumstances. And I think that it's told from the little boy's point of view, and his view of the world and how he thinks that the world is this tiny room. And I saw the movie, so I already know basically what happens, assuming that it's the same. But I really wanted to read the book and see how much more I enjoyed it or if I preferred the movie, etc. So yeah, I'm just going to read this for a little bit and I will check in afterwards. Hello again. Alright, I read about 100 pages. I'm iffy about this one. So I was right, it is written from the point of view of the little boy, but grammatically it's written from the point of view of a 5-year-old boy who's never gone to school before. I get it, and it does add something to the book, it's just annoying to read. So I don't know how I feel about it yet. Also, I'd kind of forgotten this, but because his world is so small, he like names everything, so it's not the bed, it's bed with a capital B, because there's only one bed in his universe. And that's just an interesting touch that I think adds something extra to the world building. But again, it's kind of hard to read, and obviously it's like hard to read as in it's about a woman who was abducted. I am enjoying it so far. I would have preferred if it was written differently, but maybe a little bit further in I'm gonna get more used to it and it won't be as noticeable. But yeah, so far so good. I'm gonna get up and do some things, maybe have some breakfast. I'll probably do more reading later on this afternoon. If I do, I'll check in then, and if not, I will talk to you tomorrow. Hello again. Today is Tuesday, April 7th. My game plan for today, I've been thinking a lot about it. I am going to read about 50 more pages of Room, and then decide after that if I'm going to keep reading this book or if I'm going to pause it for a little bit and start something else. I'll go through my train of thought after I read these 50 pages, but that's what I'm going to do, and I'll check in once I do that. Okay, so I read 50 more pages, actually 54 because that was the end of the chapter, and Comet took a nap. I think I kind of want to read something else for a little bit. I am enjoying this book, but obviously it's difficult to read because of the subject matter. So like I said, the premise is that the woman was abducted and she is trapped in this room. And the isolation bits are getting to me. because of current circumstances, there's just something really upsetting right now about how heavily it goes into the isolation. And the mother's very much a germaphobe because she's obviously really worried about her son getting sick because they have no access to medicine or doctors, anything like that. And I don't know, there's just a lot that's reminding me of real life right now, not in a good way. So I think I'm going to read something else for the next little bit. I know that my library does have the audiobook for Room. I checked last night, it's not available right now, but the wait time I think is about 2 to 3 weeks, so hopefully it'll become available for the end of the month. But I think that an audiobook might be easier just because then I can kind of do something like relaxing at the same time. Like I can, you know, listen to the audiobook while I'm doing a puzzle and just kind of, I don't know, it might just make it a little bit easier to digest. I haven't decided yet. That's what I'm going to try. If the audiobook doesn't become available, then I'll just finish reading it like normal. But I think that would just be a bit better for me. So in the meantime, I did read about 20 pages of Farmer Jill of Ham, kind of like a palate cleanser, if you will. So that was pretty good. I think I'm done reading for today though. I still have to edit this video and stuff, and it has to be out tomorrow, and I don't know how much footage I have, so I think that's my last reading update for today. I'm gonna get up and stretch and stuff, and then I'll come back and film an outro if I don't do any more reading. So either way, I'll talk to you in a second. Hello again. Alright, I didn't end up reading anymore, so welcome to the outro. So week 1 I think went really, really well. I think I got a lot of reading done. I read a lot of things that I enjoyed. It's just been a really good start. So quick recap, I finished The Magic Finger by Roald Dahl and I gave it an 8 out of 10. I read The Poppy War by R.F. Kuang and I gave this a 9 out of 10. I read half of Room by Emma Donoghue. And I read about 20 pages of Farmer Jill of Ham by J.R.R. Tolkien. I've been thinking the last day or two about this. I think I want to up my goal. I haven't decided yet. But I already read over 2.5 out of the 5 books and it's only week 1. I have to look into it a little bit more. I'm not going to make any decisions right now. But yeah, I think that I want to push myself a little bit more. We'll see, we'll see. I'll figure it out by the time the next vlog is started and I'll let you know. But overall, this week went really great. I'm really, really happy with everything. However, that means that it's time to see if I am a potions master yet. I have created here an invisibility potion. And I'm gonna see if it works. I don't think that quite worked. Well, I'll try again next week. So I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, please click the like button to let me know, and subscribe to stay up to date with the rest of my videos. I post videos every Wednesday and Sunday, and right now they are reading vlogs for the owls and writing vlogs for Camp NaNoWriMo, and after that I'll go back to whatever nonsense. So I hope to see you guys next time, and until then, have a great day. Bye!